everyone, Joy here. This is going to be a little short tutorial on how I gather sleeves and how I put a sleeve in, okay? I did this years ago, but I didn't have a very good camera then. And the lighting was poor and you couldn't really see what I was doing. So hopefully this will pick it up in detail and you'll be able to see how I do this, okay? Let me get the camera where I think it can see. Okay, sleeve. Now I always go ahead and make my sleeves. I always do my sleeves first. I hem them up and I sew the side seam together, okay? So, I've got my open arm here. Take two. All right, where do I start? I start at one of the notches, okay? So in this case, I'm starting at the back notch in the sleeve cap, and I'm going to put the E's in it before I put it in my blouse, and this is how I do it. I learned this from Sandra Betzina. Now, the seam is at 5/8 inch. So I am going to put this stitching at 1/2 inch, okay? Now, here's the trick. You put your finger, this finger right here, I guess you could use any finger, but this finger right here, and I'm going to keep the material from going under the foot. I'm going to hold my finger there while it gathers. I have it set on 3.0, okay? So here goes. Now you see this thumb right here? It's going to be my guide, and I'm going to hold the rest of the piece straight, and I'm going to hold it with my right hand out here, and I'm going to direct it with my thumb right here, and I got my finger as a stopper back here, all right? So let's go. Okay, now can you see how squished up that is? I hope you can. I can't see what the camera can see, but hopefully you can see how squished up all that material is right there. I'm going to let it go. Why am I letting it go? I'm letting it go because my finger couldn't hold any more there. Okay, so now I'm going to put my finger there again, and I'm going to go some more. There, let it go. Put my finger there again. I just passed the center of the cap. Let it go. Keep going. See my thumb directing? My thumb is the director. All right, pull out some thread, leave yourself a tail. All right. So now we have this beautifully eased sleeve cap. How amazing is that, huh? Wonderful. So hold on a second and I'll set the camera up for putting the sleeve in the blouse, okay? Okay, sleeve, blouse. First thing you want to figure out is what side of the blouse does the sleeve go into, for you new seamstresses out there. So I've got my blouse inside out. You see the blouse is inside out? I have my sleeve right side out. I'm going to stick the sleeve in the hole, the armhole. I'm going to grab it down here at the side seam. I'm going to see if I have two single notches here. Single notch, single notch. Now, if one of these was a double notch and one of them was a single notch, that would tell me right off I've got the sleeve on the wrong side. Now, by some miracle, I happened to hit it right the first time here. Okay? So, now, what you need to know, let me see, I always iron the seam in the blouse to the back. This seam right here, I always iron it to the back of the blouse because there's a boob dart in the front of the blouse, so I iron it to the back. So I always turn the seam on the sleeve the opposite direction as it is in the blouse, okay? Because the sleeve doesn't have a boob dart. Actually, it does have a dart, you guys. Don't worry about that one. Okay, so I pinned it at the bottom. Now, I'm going to find the top shoulder seam of the blouse, and I'm going to match it to the top notch that I cut into the shoulder. And I'm using Sure Fit Designs, you guys know. But when you get through drawing your pattern, it's got all of the marks just like any other pattern has. So I'm going to pin that. So I have it pinned at the bottom and I have it pinned at the top. So now I have all the in-between to do, okay? So here's my gathered sleeve, and it's going to fit exactly into that space with that gathering stitch that I just did. Let's see if it'll go perfect. Now when I put my pins in, I pin them on the seam line. I don't pin it up here on the very edge because that's not where I'm going to sew. And I don't pin it way in here somewhere because that's not where I'm going to sew. I'm going to sew on the 5/8 inch line. So that's where I am going to pin. How do I know where the 5/8 inch line? Because I'm old and I've been doing this for 1,000 years. I promise you, you will know what a 1/4 inch is, you'll know what a 1/2 inch is, you'll know what 5/8 inch is. See, this is fitting in just perfectly, just perfectly. If it didn't fit in perfectly, what would I do? I would simply pop those stitches, and if they wouldn't pop, I'd use a seam ripper. And I just straighten out that cap a little bit. Let's see if it fits the other side. That side's totally in. Let's try this side. This side has the single notches, which means I'm the front. Single notches are always the front in a sleeve. Double notches are always the back in a sleeve. Why? I have no idea. You'll have to ask somebody smarter than me. But let me tell you something else. And this is so wonderful to know. And I've talked about it before. Now see, I have more blouse than I have sleeve right here. So I'm simply going to pop it. I just popped it and now it fits. That just broke one of my gathering threads. Easing threads. That's called easing, what I showed you on the machine, not gathering. Gathering is when you do 2 rows of stitches and then you pull the threads. And I don't like that. I never could get my sleeves to go in smooth doing that. Some people do it and love it. I don't. Alright, so there we are. We're all pinned in. Perfect. Perfect. All I had to do was snap 1 stitch to get that sleeve to go in there exactly right. Alright, I'm going to line it up with the sewing machine again and you can watch me sew it in, if anybody cares. Alright, here we are at the machine again. Still got the open arm. I'm hoping that the lighting is good and you can see. I got lights on everywhere, so if it isn't, I have no idea what else to do. Okay, find your sleeve. It does not matter where you start. You have it all pinned together. Put part of it underneath the open arm and part of it on top. Now, I put the gathered sleeve against the sewing machine. I have the blouse on top. Now, some people do it differently. I don't. I know that sleeve is gathered just a little bit. It's just ease, not gathered. It's not going to pucker. I hardly ever, now hopefully today won't be the first time, I hardly ever have a pucker. Okay? Now, I'm seeing here that my sleeve, where I move the shoulder forward, there's kind of a bit of a notch in it, but we don't care. We're just going to keep going. 5/8 inch. 5/8 inch. I'm at the top. Take out the pins. You're supposed to take out the pins before you get to them. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Now, it's not critical for me because I am sewing at 3.0. And so my needle can jump a pin easily. Have I ever hit a pin? Yes, I have. Should I remove them before I get to them? Yes, I should. But if I don't, see that one? I didn't get the pin out soon enough, but it jumped it easily. I have a pin jumping sewing machine. What is this? This is a Bernina. This is one of my very favorites. You know, I got 8 or 9 of them. This is one of my favorites. This is called the 1130, and it's a limited edition. Now, put your finger underneath and make sure that seam on the bottom's going the way it's supposed to go, or you're going to have to rip it out. Pull out that pin, cut off this stitching. You don't need that. And you know you only gather between the notches on the sleeve cap. You don't gather the entire sleeve. That's a no-no. And I'm coming around to the start. And there I am. I just crossed over where I started. And I backstitched. Cut the threads. All right, let's turn it and see how many pleats and tucks I got, okay? I'm about to sneeze, you guys. Pardon me if you hear myself sneeze. Look at that. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. First time, perfect. Perfect. There's not a single pleat, a single notch, a single fold, a single nothing. And I have the sleeve on the bottom. And I'm cutting off the extra threads. Now what do? I'm going to go to my serger. I checked my sleeve to make sure there's nothing ugly or icky or weird, and there isn't. So I'm going to go to my serger, and my friend Phyllis used to clip her armhole. But I heard Peggy Sager say, you don't want to clip an armhole because you want it to stay round. Why would you want it to go unround and open up? Because it's an armhole and it's supposed to be round. So I never clip it, but I do serge it. And I serge off about 1/4 inch all the way around. And so that, you know, with it shorter like that, then it's going to give you more ease anyway. Okay? Okay, I figured since the camera's sitting here, I might as well show you this too. I'm almost done. But you can see how I have the blouse. Here's how you would stick your hand in the sleeve, okay? And so I'm sewing on the inside of the blouse around that seam I just made, sewing the sleeve in, okay? And I'm cutting off about 1/4 inch, maybe a little more. And you can see my lights. I got my lights on my machines. All right, there we go. Serged, totally serged. How nice is that? No puckers, no gathers, totally serged. And the sleeve is in. And it's wonderful. Okay? See you soon. Bye.